Hello, beautiful souls. My name is Jane, also known as Roshana, which is my spirit name. And I'm the author of this book, Conversations with the Tree. And today I'm here to offer some light language. And then I'm going to talk to speak about people who are very sensitive to their environment and very connected to the land, and how important it is for us to be living in an environment that really nurtures and supports us. And this realization just dropped into me quite strongly yesterday. I have recently moved out of the city and into the woods, so I'm just going to share my thoughts on that after I bring through some light language for everyone. And I'm just looking at the light streaming through this window, through my crystal that I have hanging. It's quite delightful. Okay, here we go. Well, they're wanting to bring through a channeling first, so I will just let that flow. And so it is, beloveds. We come to you in joy and delight. We come to you from the great central sun, and we say to you, beloved beings, just as the light is dancing in this video, the light is now inviting you in. The light is ready to dance more fully upon your soul. And so we say to you, dear ones, as you know, you are in times that feel very heavy, very dense. There are different reasons for this. One reason is that the energies are coming to support the old ways, the old patterns that lie so deeply within you, to shift and clear and release so that you can hold more light. And it is the invitation of that light. It is the light that is coming to your planet, the energy that is now coming to this planet, that is pushing all of this to the surface. And it can be challenging on the physical structure. Even this one who is speaking has a bit of a headache today because of this energy coming in and pushing things to the surface and releasing. And so we invite you to give yourself time to be with this process. Give yourself time to slow down and go within and let all of this energy, this density that lies within you, the shadow that is within you, to come to the surface and be released. This is a long and ongoing process. For many on the planet, they are releasing not only for themselves, but for their family lineage and for the overall structure of humanity itself. So some have it within their DNA that as they clear, they are clearing for the mass consciousness, these deep patterns that rest within all of humanity, like shame and guilt and rejection. And so the healing can feel very heavy at times, and yet we say to you, dear ones, that on the other side of this work, if you will allow yourself to go in and sit with it and let it be with you, you get lighter, figuratively and literally. So literally you are holding more light, and figuratively you are holding more light, and literally you actually feel lighter because you're dropping the weight of all those dense patterns from your being. So you can look forward to life being more joyful and just feeling that lightness and feeling more peace within yourself when you take the time to be with these patterns and release them and let them go. And then also, of course, this heaviness and this density is showing up in the outer world. And we would say to you, dear ones, to view this from a witness standpoint. Do not let yourself be so deeply caught up into it and let it impact your now moment with the heaviness and the weight of the world, it is not serving you and it is not serving the world. The greatest service is to allow yourself to receive this beautiful light, this energy that is coming in. Feel the patterns that are wanting to be released. Let them go. And there are many ways that you can do this. You can go to the website of the one who is speaking, and there are many people who are offering ways and direction for you to move through this density. It really is a matter of just feeling what you're feeling. Allow yourself to drop into what you're feeling. And when there is resistance, then the feeling persists. It can become physical ailments, and this is happening more and more. As people resist, then the physical body has to show you in other ways. So the more willing you are to look at it and be with it, the easier it is for you. And so we wanted to offer this opening because we are inviting this one now to bring through some light language that will assist you in releasing those old patterns. Okay, so that apparently is the focus of the light language that is wanting to come through today. So I want you to know that by listening to light language, it is affecting your DNA. It's actually changing your structure. And the beauty is that we can't identify it. We don't know what it is in a literal translation, what the words are saying. I bring through an overview because I get a sense of the overview if I ask for it. But because we can't hear words that we recognize, then our ego and also our familiar patterns that we would attach to particular words cannot influence what we're receiving. So for example, someone might say to you, "Oh, I see you cut your hair." And I may immediately think, "Oh, did they like my haircut or not?" So we're always putting meaning onto words that we know. And so with the light language, we don't know the meaning, so we can't interfere in a sense by doing that. And so the language just gets to drop into ourselves and do the work of supporting us, in this case, in releasing the patterns that we're holding that are no longer serving us and that are making it more challenging for us to absorb all this high energy that we're receiving right now. So let's begin. Akoi icha ikla ama kanawa ichkaha. Omika alawa ik alawa ekacho. Omika ai ta akla e. Omika alawa ikshna a. Omakita I kala e kalawa e chikana I amaka alawa e. Omakana iktaka a. Ikshla a wikana awa. I makaya olawa ikshna a wikatna. Emaka I la kai ochna kana hawa. Imaka akla ekana. Ichka a li kalawa e. Omaka a liwa ikshna atawa. Ekna akshiha. The yawning is clearing. Imakla I e okshna a I alawa ishka a ichka uchka ikna ush watla e uchi ala ikana mikla e kacha okitaha ka awa e oela akila ikana o achima ki takana omaka elawa ikshnaha akma e taka owakila achika imaka alawa ekna okta awa ima ki ho takayaha alewakana. Okay, so that was clearing, opening us up so that the patterns from the past can release. And they also want me to share with you, a while ago, a light language lullaby came through me, and the same melody comes through every time. the light language changes, but the melody is the same. And so it's like they're asking me to offer this as a soft, filling up the spaces of what's being released, filling up the spaces with beautiful, loving, light language lullaby. Ake haya toale, mia kaya tolewa, ia chaya hokena, mia kaya la. Oe chakina tewa, Maya koala. Achite o akna I amaka te watna. Imakai achua e lakahi. Maki chaka aklahaiwa e. So they are inviting us to listen to this video many, many times so that that releasing can happen for us, and that it can be easier for us to absorb this beautiful light that is a great opportunity for us at this time to expand into our highest potential, to let go of the past and start stepping into the brilliance that is us as human beings. There is so much wisdom that we can tap into. And the more we release the past and the patterning that we came in with, the more we can step into that love light. And for those who are interested, I'll just share a bit about this connection to the land. So I had an experience when I was living in Nova Scotia. I talk about it actually in my book, Conversations with a Tree, where I was looking for a new apartment, and I was driving down a road to go see a place, and it was a road that I'd never been on before. And at one point, I was crossing very close to the water, and I was moved to tears. And I thought, wow, I guess the land is talking to me, and this home that I'm going to look at must be the place for me. And I was so convinced of that because of my reaction to the land that I ended up renting this apartment, even though it wasn't really an ideal place for me to be living. It was a beautiful old home that was an organic berry farm, so that really appealed to me. And then about 3 or 4 weeks later, a friend of mine was coming to visit me, and so we had met at the local town for lunch, and then he was following me home. And at the very same place on the land where I was moved to tears, he suddenly started driving very slowly. And I was watching in my rear view mirror, and he was driving so slowly that I had to wait at the stop sign for him to catch up to me so he would know which way I went. So when he pulled into the driveway behind me, I went back to see what was going on. And he was bawling his eyes out. And this happened to him at the same place on the land where I started to cry. The difference is that he recognized that there had been a massacre on that piece of land. And it was along the dikes in Nova Scotia that were built by the Acadian French. And I don't know if all of you will know the history, but they were expelled from Nova Scotia, and it's apparent that there was more violence than was shared in the history books. So he and I immediately went back and offered some healing to that land. But I just offer that out there to speak to people who have that same deep sensitivity to the land. So I am someone who carries that deep sensitivity. And 2.5 years ago, I moved to Vancouver Island, and there's an island nearby called Salt Spring, which was when I was exploring and deciding where I might like to live. It was when I got off the ferry at Salt Spring that I thought, oh, I could live here. But it's a very isolated community, and I moved here knowing no one, and I was afraid that I would feel too isolated there. So I moved to the city of Victoria, which is a beautiful city, and definitely in the last 2.5 years have built a beautiful community. But recently I've had the feeling that I need to get out of the city, and I found that when I would drive even half an hour north of the city, when I was coming back home again, I would start to feel very sad. And so I decided to act on that, and I've recently moved to this home where I now am, where, let's see if I can turn this the right way to show you that I am surrounded by trees. It's a beautiful environment, and I immediately realized that my body just became more relaxed. And when I moved to Victoria, I experienced what I call turning to mush. Within a matter of a couple of months, all my clients just stopped coming. Like I work with people over Skype, and I just wasn't getting any clients. And then I started going so deeply within and internal that I went through this huge transformation. Again, I talk about this in my book because I feel like it's so significant. And I was learning from everything in my environment, even wasps that had created a nest in the window frame of the place where I was living. And I later learned that Victoria has this energy of taking you in, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'm so glad it happened, because talk about releasing, like I was big time purging for a matter of 6 months. I also became very grounded for the first time in my life, so definitely it was healing. But after a while, that becomes too intense. And so I've had 2 years of not as intense as when it first began, but a lot of internal work. And I feel like that is done, and that's why I was feeling so sad about being in the city. And now that I'm here, I'm realizing that I'm so relaxed. I am connecting more with the trees and the land again, because I was picking up also the energy of all the people in the city, and my body couldn't relax. There was just too much information coming in, just too much happening out there in the external field that my body was taking in. And some people say, oh, well, you just need to learn to manage that, and you just need to learn how to not take on so much. But I feel like that's way too much work for someone who's as sensitive as I am to have to be trying to manage that all the time. So it just really struck me, like all these experiences that I've had with connections to the land, and how powerful that is for me. And I can drive down roads. There are other parts of this island where I was considering moving, and I would turn onto a road and immediately feel a sick feeling in my solar plexus. And I knew that that land was not healthy, that that land holds pain, and it would not be a place for me to live. Certainly a place for me to go and offer healing, and I do that with the light language when I'm on the land, and I know the land needs healing, and there's very powerful response from that, from the land. So the reason I'm sharing this is to invite others who are this sensitive to just ask yourself, how much is your environment really affecting you? And do you need to give yourself permission to move, and the courage and the strength? And I know it's a lot to make a move, but the result is that your physical body can relax, and then everything else can move so much easier for you. All the things that we want to transition through in our lives, and all the space that we need to integrate all the energy that's happening now. We really need to nurture ourselves and be good and kind to ourselves, so that our environment is nurturing, so that it supports us as we're going through all these changes that are the new norm. Really, I think we have to accept that much of this is the new norm. You know, some years may feel lighter. I have a feeling that for me, 2019 is going to feel lighter. But for some people who are just starting their journey of deciding that they want to release the past and knowing that it's time to let go of the old patterns, then this journey is just beginning. We're all in our own stage and our own level, and it's not a competition. It happens when the time is right. And it happens when our soul knows that it's in our highest and best for it to happen. So just some sharings for today and a reminder to listen to the light language. And I'll also put a link below for my book, Conversations with a Tree, if you're interested in reading some of the beautiful, profound, insightful messages that I received from the trees when I was asked to be the scribe of a tree who calls herself Henrietta. All of that in my book, Conversations with a Tree. So much love to you all.